Hey yogi, welcome to class. If you are new to the channel, I am Rhi and this is Drake, fast asleep as always. And if you are returning, then welcome back. We love practicing with you here on YouTube. Before we get into it, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. And also, once you finish the class, if you did dig it, then give it a thumbs up, hit the like button. Those things just really help us to kind of grow the channel on our little tiny corner of YouTube. And also loads of you have started to like tag me on Instagram whenever you do, one of the practices, which is awesome. I love seeing like your setup and how it went for you and whether or not you enjoyed it. So please keep doing that. And if you haven't done that before, please do. We love to see it. That being said, let's get down to business. Let's come into this class. So this is going to be just a nice kind of variation of pigeon without doing pigeon, like a figure of four flow. It's going to be quite a strong flow, but for this class, you're not going to need any props. I am sitting on a blanket because we are going to come to start in an easy seat in Sukhasana, and I always like to sit on a blanket. It just makes me feel a little bit more open with the hips. So that being said, come to sit cross-legged, cross any leg in front of the other, but really try to make the cross like at the middle of the shins, just so we really kind of open in the hips. So the feet are going to roughly go underneath the knees. Close down the eyes. Arrive. Sit nice and tall. So ground those sit bones down into whatever you're sitting on, and then start to just lift up through the spine. Remember to keep the chin kind of neutral so that your cervical spine is nice and neutral and long, and the crown of the head is just reaching up, up, up. Relax your shoulders, and then let your hands fall wherever feels good. Close down the eyes or take a soft gaze, whatever is calling you for this practice. Mark the start of your journey. Mark this feeling. Mark the emotion, the physical quality of how you feel right now. And then turn your attention to the breath. Can you make those inhales through the nose a bit longer, a bit stronger? Can you send them right the way down into the pit of the belly? Coming in through the nose, down through the throat, filling the rib cage, but not just stopping there, going right the way down, filling the belly. And then can you work back? Can you send that exhale strongly as you draw the belly button back to the spine, drop the chest, exhale through the throat, through the mouth. Reaching tall through the crown of your head, keeping everything neutral and really grounding into the sit bones, knowing that somewhere between those sit bones and the crown of your head is the center of you. And that's where we want to tune into with every practice, whether we're on the mat or off it. Once you've taken those strong inhales and exhales, if the eyes are closed, you can blink them back open. And then take the hands onto the knees if they weren't. We're going to just take some seated cat-cows. So on your inhale, think about really flicking the tailbone out and behind you. I'm actually going to turn so that I'm side on to you for this. So think about really anterior tilt of the pelvis essentially. So flick the tailbone back. So flick it up and back, and then lift through the chest. Think cow pose, lift the heart. So shine the collarbones up. As you exhale, see if you can really start to drive the pelvis under you. So you're gonna Draw the tailbone and tuck it under, so much so you're going to be leaning back, puff through the shoulders, think cat pose, chin to chest. Inhale, reverse it, flick the tailbone, lift the heart, shoulders dropping down the back body to lift the chest. Exhale, tuck under, push through your shoulder blades, chin to chest. One more just like that. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, send everything the other way, strongly tuck under you. Feel your abs turn on to allow that to happen. And then come back to center. Change the cross of the legs. So this is, you will have probably always choose like your good side to cross your legs. And there's always that funky side. This is super funky for me. So acknowledge that. And then we'll just do the same. So inhale, really think, lift the heart, lift the chest, and flick that tailbone up and back. Exhale, engage the core here as you use it to scoop the tailbone right under you. Inhale, seated cow pose. Exhale, seated cat. One more, inhale, lift up, feel expansive through your spine. Exhale, feel strong through your lower abs. And inhale, come to neutral. Reach your arms up, look up, drishti lifts. Exhale, fold the hands forward. So walk them forward, keeping the sit bones grounded. I know they're going to want to lift, so resist the urge to go as deep as you can and just go to a place where you can still feel that connection to whatever you're sitting on. So sit ground, sit down into those sit bones. And then just breathe a few breaths here. Gentle push through the fingertips to just reinforce the message that you're sitting onto those seat bones. And then walk the hands back in. And come back, sitting upright. From here, release the cross of the legs and take your feet into like a bear sit. So sitting with the feet kind of like pointing out from either side of your mat, and you're kind of opening up here. And then from here, you can use your hands. So if you feel like when you're sitting like this, you're kind of collapsing into the lower back and you're scooting the tailbone under you, kind of involuntarily almost, that's cool. Take the hands behind you and use it to just give you length and sit you up nice and tall. If you can, and you can be here and sitting tall, take the hands out in front of you, clasp the hands. And then from here, we're just going to take some windscreen wipers from side to side, noticing how those hips feel. I don't know why I'm doing this on a blanket, because I'm going to end up off the blanket. I always creep forward. If you do creep forward doing this, you are not alone. It's just the movement propelling you up your mat. And then come back to neutral, and then just drop one knee in and just let it go as much as it will. Don't think it needs to go all the way down. Keep the opposite sit bone down. So my right knee can come all the way in with my left sit bone grounded, whereas my left always is a bit more, I don't know what the right word is, clunky, doesn't have as much in the tank, but just side to side, opening up through the hips. We're going to cook them up today. So this is just our appetizer. Nice. And then from here, we're going to come into a 90-90. So come back to sort of a neutral place. And then first we're going to start with the right. Actually, I'm just going to move the blanket out of the way. So if you had your blanket like me, feel free to move it. So we're going to start with, think of pigeon pose, but think of it as being quite strict. So you want this right shin parallel to the mat. You also want to create a nice 90-degree angle, and then we want to do the same with the left. So the left hip is going to go into internal rotation, and the right is going to go into external. Now, if you need to have 2 blocks under your hands here, that's fine. Or maybe just use, you know, your fingers just to lift you up. Driving down through that right shin and turning on that left glute, can you press all corners of both legs strongly into your mat? Sit nice and tall here. Notice how this feels. And then take a deep inhale. On your exhale, you're going to hinge forward and come to fold over that right leg. Again, think about the tailbone lifting. So just like we did in the seated cow pose, think cow pose here. So you're going to really lift the chest up and over and lift the tailbone as much as you can. It's just going to give you a nice intense stretch here. Keep breathing, feeling out any sensations as they arrive. Notice when they go. Sometimes the longer you just sit in the pocket, you'll feel those initial sensations, and then you'll work through them. You'll loosen them up. You'll dissolve them. Nice. Come back up. And then from here, we're just going to lift and lower a couple of times. So hands or no hands, yogi's choice. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale to lift. Nice. Switching sides. So this time your left leg is going to swing up into that. I'm covered in dog hair, and it must be burly because it's white, which is not good for my black outfit. So again, bring that left knee so that you're in a nice 90-degree position, and then work to be in 90 degrees in the back as well. If this is like crazy, just uncomfortable, and you feel like you're rolling onto the side too much, feel free to bring that right foot a bit closer in. It'll allow you to sit up a bit taller. But if you can, keep the 90-90. Hands or no hands, you're just going to sit tall for a couple of breaths. Feel like you could press down into the shin on both legs, but more so in this front leg. Really try to work to open through that hip by pressing down through the shin. Nice. And then inhale, sit nice and tall, and exhale, come forward into your fold. So again, you're thinking about lifting the tailbone, flicking it up, and just go, you know, to your kind of depth. So if you're a bit higher, that's fine. We just want to feel like we're getting a nice stretch with the fold. Slowly come up. And we'll do the lift and lowers again. So hands or no hands, your choice. Inhale to lift up tall. Exhale, fold down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Keep pressing the shins, both of them, into the mat. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. One more inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Come all the way back up and then come out of that. So swing yourself around. Nearly kicked Drakey then, but I didn't, thankfully. And then come into all fours. We'll just take some wrist warm-ups. We will be on the hands a bit today. So just circling the shoulders over the wrists. Gripping the fingers with the mat. Just make sure that you are engaging through the hands. Working all those little tendons, little muscles in the arms, the forearms, the fingers, the wrists, the hands. Nice work. And then from here, take your right knee and drive it in towards your right eye. So really squeeze it in here. And then you're going to take that right knee and drop it as if you were setting up for pigeon here. Then take your left knee and take it just behind either behind the right ankle, so you've got this little box connection, shin box we call it, or take it so that the left knee is on the outside. It's whichever is your call. And then from here, inhale, sit tall, exhale, start to fold. You can use the fingertips here if you like. Inhale to lift, exhale to fold. If you can go no hands, do that now. So inhale to lift, exhale to fold. You may not go as far. Inhale to lift, squeeze your glutes, and exhale to fold. Come back up. Nice. Hands back to the mat. Come back into tabletop. This time drive your left knee in towards your left eye as much as you can, and then come in to this preparatory shin box shape. So feel it out. If you're not used to this, then you might need to put the right knee on the outside of the left foot, but you want to feel that connection either way, knee to foot. Nice. Inhale, engage your glutes, sit tall. Exhale, see if you can really flick the tailbone fold. Inhale to lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, lift, feel the glutes turn on to help you. Exhale. One more, inhale, and exhale. Nice. Inhale, come up. Unwrap your shin box, hands to the mat. Tuck your toes and lift your hips. Meet me in Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Feel free to explore this down dog by pedaling out through the feet or wriggling through the hips. Just whatever's going to feel good for you today. Nice. From here we'll take a Vinyasa. Lift heels, bend knees, roll forward into a high plank pose. Drop knees or keep them lifted. Exhale, take a push-up. Drop knees, lower forearms, look forward. Inhale through to upward facing dog. Exhale, push back. Downward facing dog. One more of those. Lift heels, bend knees, push forward into high plank. Drop knees or keep them lifted. Exhale, full push-up. Drop knees and forearms, look forward. Inhale through, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back. Downward facing dog. Walk the feet back towards the hands here. From here we'll inhale, halfway lift. So hands to shins or to the mat. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, belly to thighs, so bend the knees if you need to. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Nice. Scoot your feet out so you can come toes, heel toe out, I should say. Toes either side of the mat, heels clicking in. Come down into Malasana. Feel free to sway side to side. Notice how the hips are feeling. We've already found so much range, hopefully now. So just notice how that's feeling in this first yogi squat. Nice. From here, same. Inhale, straighten the legs, fold forward. Exhale, rebend. Inhale, forward and over. Exhale, rebend. One more of those. Inhale, straighten legs as much as you can. Fold and exhale. Nice. From here, you're going to straighten your legs enough to walk your hands back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Nice. From here, reach your right leg nice and high to the sky. Then bend the knee and open up through the hip. Just take a couple of hip circles here. As you can see, we are all about the hips today. And then see if you can just drive your right knee into your chest enough so that you can just cross over into kind of this figure of 4 down dog. Really push to work that left heel down, opening out through that right knee. Nice. And then inhale, draw that right knee back into the chest, bend both knees, roll forward, right foot next to right thumb. Come into a low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Modified pyramid. Work to straighten the legs, lifting through the hips. Nice. From here, re-bend that right knee and drag yourself along. Come in to crouching warrior. Exhale, draw that left knee into the chest. Come to stand tall. Nice. From here, externally rotate through that left hip to open, and then take that left ankle above your right knee, coming into a standing figure of 4. Inhale here, stand strong. Exhale, start to flick the tailbone back as we've been doing all class, and just come to lean forward. Imagine you're gonna, I don't know, you're looking off the edge of maybe a small cliff if you're into cliff diving, and you're just peering over the edge. So you're really trying to send yourself long, bending through the knee. Nice. Inhale, we're going to come back to where we came, left knee into chest. Exhale through crouching warrior. Inhale, hands to the mat, left foot drops. Come into that modified pyramid. Maybe you're going to lift the right toes back towards the shin. Nice. Exhale, deep bend of the knee, drop the left knee, and then inhale back, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot goes back to meet the left, downward facing dog. Left leg nice and high, 3-leg dog. Bend your left knee and start to just take some circles. Noticing if one hip just has more in the tank than the other. Then drive that left knee into the chest to allow you to just hook the left ankle across the right thigh for figure of 4. Down dog. Then from here, drive that left knee into the chest, bend both knees to allow you to ripple forward and drop the left foot next to the left thumb. Try and keep the hands ground. Drop that right knee down. Inhale into your low lunge. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes, lifting into modified pyramid pose. Inhale, rebend both knees. Slowly drag yourself into a crouching warrior. Lift the hands to the chest. Exhale, draw that right leg in to the chest. Stand tall, find a bit of balance. And then open up through that right hip, right ankle over left shin. Take an inhale here. Exhale, start to hinge from the hips. So again, you want to think about flicking your tailbone up and back and peering over, that cliff or whatever it is that you're looking over, the pool. Nice. Back the way we came. Inhale, draw the knee into the chest. Exhale, back into crouching warrior. Strong on that left leg. Inhale, drop the toes down, hands to the mat. Exhale, come into that pyramid pose, maybe lift the toes this time. Inhale, drop that right knee, come in to low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Lift the arms, look up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Back into downward facing dog. Right leg nice and high to the sky. Bend the knee, this time straight away, come into that down dog figure of 4. Really push your left femur bone back so that you're really working through that left hamstring. Then drive your right knee into the chest. deep bend of both knees. To ripple you forward, drop your right foot next to your right thumb. Come down into low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, this time hands, or maybe no hands, come into that modified pyramid pose. Inhale, drag yourself through into crouching warrior. Exhale, come to stand. Draw your left knee into your chest. Inhale, open the hip and drop left ankle. And exhale, fold. Flick the tailbone back and up. So tilting the pelvis. Nice. Can you go a little bit deeper here whilst keeping the tailbone flicking back? Back to where we came. Inhale, draw that left knee back into the chest. Exhale, come through your crouch warrior. Hands or no hands, drop the back toes. Come into that modified pyramid pose. And then inhale, drop the back knee. Reach the arms up, Vinyasa. Exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot next to the left, down dog. Left leg nice and high, 3-leg dog. Bend the knee and take it into that figure of 4 down dog. Use it to work that left hamstring and open that left hip. Draw the left knee in, deep bend of the right knee, and scoop forward, drop that left foot next to the left thumb. Come down, inhale to low lunge. Exhale, hands or no hands, come into modified pyramid pose. Inhale, bend that left knee strongly to click you forward and into crouching warrior. Try not to jump into it. And then exhale, right knee to chest. Open through the hip. Take your figure of 4 again. Seeing if you can test the depth a bit more here now that you're a bit more open. Nice. Inhale, draw it back in. Exhale through your crouching warrior. Inhale, drop in the toes. Exhale, modified pyramid, hands or no hands. Inhale through to low lunge, Vinyasa. Exhale, hands to the mat. Downward dog. Nice. Awesome. This time, reach your right leg nice and high. And then bend and open the knee. Just keep it open for a moment. Try and square the torso to the mat. Then drive the right knee into the chest. Come into that figure of 4 down dog. Nice. From here, we're going to come onto the outside of the left foot and come into Vashistasana, side plank. Keeping the figure of 4 if you can. Try and really send your hips over to the right side of the mat. Nice. And then inhale, draw the right knee into the chest. Look forward. Exhaling. How slow can you drop the right toes first and come into this low lunge. Plant your left hand, turn all 10 toes to the right, come into high horizon. Really reach up here, lift the hips. Feel that you could scoop the left hip under the right. Nice. And then start to lower down. As you come down, you're going to bend that left knee and drag it under you, coming into Gomukasana. So I'm just going to turn to face you here so you can see what on earth I am doing. Nice. So coming into Gomukasana, if you need to, keep the knees on the floor, lift the tailbone, really flick it up and back and come onto the hands. Only come down if you can do that while keeping the knees connected, because we really want to get into the outer hips here. Nice. You can pop your hands wherever feels good. We're just going to take a couple of breaths here. If it feels nice, slowly maybe come down onto the forearms. Press your sit bones into the mat like we did at the beginning. And just bow down. Slowly work your way back up. This is the fun part. We're going to come back the way we came in. So for you, it's going to be your left hand down, and you're going to lift that right knee so that your right foot is roughly coming back into a high horizon, and then start to reach up, send that left hip back, and then lift. So you scoop that left hip under you. Nice. All 10 toes turn to face the top of the mat. And then inhale, drag that left leg up, reach the hands to the chest, come into crouching warrior. Exhale, drive to stand on that right leg. From here, open into that figure of 4 again, and then sort of folding over, peering over. Stay here, or you're warm enough, if you want to, you could try Ekapada Galavasana, which is flying pigeon. So if you want to do that, I'm just going to scoop back a little bit because I'm weird about being too close to the top of my mat. So if you want to do that, make sure that that left foot is kept onto the inside of your right top of arm. Take your hands down and lean forward so that that right foot can lift, maybe can extend. Be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and then come back on 1. Wherever you are, come all the way up to stand. Draw your left knee into your chest, and then come back through that crouching warrior. Nice. Drop the back toes, come into a low lunge, and then exhale, hands to the mat, back into downward facing dog. I'm going to be on the wrong side if I stay where I am, so I'm going to turn just so that I'm the right way. So from your down dog, this time your left leg is going to lift nice and high. Bend the knee and just open up the hip. Beautiful. Coming into that figure of 4, and then turning onto the outside of your right foot, coming in to this figure of 4 side plank. Drive your left knee into your chest. As you exhale, slow with control, left toes touch the mat first, and then drop that left foot to the mat. Turn all 10 toes to the left. Inhale, scoop your right hip under you, coming into high horizon lunge. Exhale, lower down. As you do, start to bend through that right knee. Bend the left knee more and allow yourself to sit into cow face pose, Gomukasana. Grounding down through your sit bones here, or coming up and just using the knees being stacked to lift the tailbone. So either one is totally fine. And we're just going to do the same again here. So once you've got yourself settled, just start to walk your hands a bit forward and bow down. Take 2 more breaths here, breathing into those outer hips. Slowly come up, Plant your right hand. Your left foot is going to go back into that high horizon spot. And as you lift up, you're just going to come back into that high horizon for a moment. Then all 10 toes are going to turn to face the top of the mat. Drag yourself through. Come into a crouching warrior on the left leg, hands to the chest. And then draw your right knee into your chest, setting up for this side. So again, come into your figure of four and stay there, or you can try the arm balance. If you don't want to extend the leg, it might feel good to just keep the knee bent. So you're going to come down low, hands to the mat, really grip the mat, lean forward, and then maybe you just want to this time flick the foot in. Wherever you are, be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower back, down. Inhale, draw that right knee into the chest. Exhale, come through. Crouching warrior. Drop the back toes. Inhale into a low lunge. And exhale, hands to the mat. Coming back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Nice. From here, right leg high, come through into a regular pigeon. So try and keep the pigeon nice and lifted, and try and keep that right leg completely in line with the top of the mat. Even if you can't go as deep as you usually would, you are going to get a bit more from it by doing that. If you want to, you can start to fall down into your pigeon. Slowly bring the hands back under you, tuck the back toes, and switch sides through down dog. Left leg high, bend the left knee, take it forward, and then left foot behind right hand. And again, be strict with yourself. Make sure that left knee is wider than your hip, and then just keep walking your right knee back until you get that left leg completely in line with the top of your mat. So don't drag that left foot towards the right hip. Just try and square it off. Even if you're really high here, that's fine. You could always pop a block or a blanket under you to elevate. We're just going to get a lot more if we can just keep this shin parallel to the top of the mat. It may mean you don't go as deep, that's fine. And you may have more range here than you usually do. You may be like, hey, hang on, I'm like a rangy, goosey, loosey yogi today because we've done a ton of hip external rotation. So, we've done loads. So maybe you can keep the leg parallel, the shin parallel, and you feel like you're in control and you're not sinking to the left, but you're grounding down into that right hip to keep the hips nice and neutral, and you're feeling, juicy, and that's great. 2 more breaths here. Slowly come up. This time, just let yourself kind of really sit onto your left hip, just to bring your right leg around. And then we're going to come down onto our backs, rolling down. Nice. We're just going to take a couple of prone back bends here because why not? And then we will be finished. So feet hip distance. Really scoop that tailbone underneath you, so posterior tilt here. And then exhale to lift. Really engage your quads, your glutes, the hamstrings. Drive down through the heels and drag back. Don't worry about this being the biggest back bend you've ever done. Think about activation through the lower body. Setu Bandhasana. Stay here or take your hands outside of your ears, fingers pointing back. I'm just going to undo or release my hair, otherwise that's going to hurt. Scoop your elbows in and then lift into Urdhva Dhanurasana, full wheel. Think about really engaging through your glutes here and pressing through your feet and your hands as much. So you want to be sending your chest through your arms. So for me, that's towards the back window. And when you've had enough, slowly, shoulders to the mat. Nice. For this Shavasana, it might feel nice to take Supta Baddha Konasana. You've done so much in the hips. So for that, take the soles of the feet together. Let your knees fall out. Maybe one hand on the heart center, one hand to the belly. And just close down the eyes. Let the body marinate all of the spices that you've added to it today, all of the work, the breath, the energy that you have built, the Agni, the fire that you have created, all of those little spicy things that we add in to our asana practice. Let them all now marinate and simmer and settle in your body. Allow yourself to surrender to your mat. Allow your hips to be heavy. And allow your spirit to be light. Stay in your Shavasana for as long as you have. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. Give yourself the grace to just marinate, to surrender, to be at ease. You did all the work. This is where Drakey and I will leave you. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to share a little bit of the practice with you. And we hope to see you back here on YouTube soon. Until we see each other again. Thank you, Yogi.